Hello lovely people, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all well. Today we are going to do the second video out of two on a little show called Dear Evan Hansen, currently touring up and down the UK. So if you want to know my thoughts, my feelings and everything in between on this show, stick around and we'll get into it in 2 whole seconds. So yeah, let's quickly get into it. I just said I do 2 separate videos in each show. I try and see. My teeth nearly fell out then. Little backstory, if you've never seen me before, hi, my name's Claire. This is Open Roads and Theatre Seats, and on most shows that I see I like to do 2 separate videos. First one being the Nervous Guide. That was the last video on this channel. A Nervous Guide is a encompassing all video about my experience seeing the show and any content warnings and sensory warnings, etc. It's a everything you need to know about the show kind of video. This second video is the review. The review is always put in inverted commas because I am in no way professional. I just like to go and see theatre and make videos about my experience seeing it and my thoughts on shows, because I quite often go alone to shows. That means I have no one to talk to about the show afterwards, so the internet is kind of like my theatre friend, the person I talk to about said shows. Whew, we're done. So as already mentioned, today we're going to talk about the Dear Evan Hansen, that sounded really weird in my head, the Dear Evan Hansen UK tour. Before we start, I'm going to out myself here, but for the many years it has been in fruition, from Broadway to the West End, even the film. When I sat in my theatre seat on the 2nd of April 2025, that was my first experience of the show. That is not to say I didn't know anything about it. I kind of knew some of the plot points and other plot points I could kind of work out were going to happen. And I knew the music quite well. I was surprised how much of the music I actually knew previously. Basically all of Act 1 I kind of knew the music, give or take a few songs. So I wasn't completely blind like I have been previously for other shows, but I did know something about it. This production is a non-replica production, which basically which basically means that it doesn't follow the same route as, say, the Broadway show or the West End show. Route probably not the best way of describing it, because it does still use the same script, it does still use the songs, but things like set design, costume design and such are not the same as the aforementioned Broadway and West End ones, and instead they are different designers, because it's not a replica, it's not the same thing as those, it is a non-replica. I'm not describing that in the best way, but I did want to mention, in case you go and see this production and you saw it on the West End, or you saw it on Broadway, in the West End on Broadway. I know people hate when you get that wrong. Or even seeing it in the film, it's not going to be exactly the same. But going back in, like I said, I did know a good chunk of the songs. The music and the lyrics for the show are written by Pasek and Paul, who most of the world know as the creators of the music and lyrics, I think, for The Greatest Showman. I more personally know them for their work in Dogfight. Fun fact, when I saw Dogfight back way in the day, at the Southwark Playhouse when there was only one. I sat in a room with Pasek and Paul. They were in the audience that I was in. Claim to fame. But I loved listening to the songs in person. I have now got about 5 of them on my on repeat playlist. Take your pick, see if you can guess which 5. But their work in this show is the music and lyrics, and the book for this show has been done by Stephen Levinson. This show, if you don't know, basically follows the lead character of Evan Hansen, who is kind of a nobody in his high school. He doesn't have a lot of friends, if any, and he is struggling through the high school experience, feeling like he doesn't fit in, when something happens and he eventually gets caught in a lie that spirals more and more and more, and it kind of follows him through that lie until it is discovered. This touring production has been directed by Adam Penford, who is the artistic director for the Nottingham Playhouse. I have notes. That sounded very structured. The set design, costume design and co-video design has been done by Morgan Large. The other part of the co-video design is Ravi Depress. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. I really enjoyed the set, and I really also enjoyed the video design. This production, should I say, has a couple of archways in its set, and those are used for part of the video. There is also some screens that come down. I am aware when it was in the West End, the whole of the back screen was a screen, back wall was a screen, should I say, whereas these are not. Wow, words helpful. The use of the video screens, if you will, are cleverly used. Occasionally there is a few lyrics. I think it's mostly in You Will Be Found. It has that on one of the arches, but I really enjoyed how it was used. And like I said, the set design, another big fan of. Most of it is on tracks, I believe, so things like Evan's bedroom gets pushed in and pulled out, same with the kitchens of both the Murphy family and also, less so but still, a kitchen of the Hansen family. I enjoyed how it all moved around, and yeah, I was a big fan of this set. Another thing I enjoyed about the set was the use of the screens, as in glass screens this time. There's a lot of screens involved in this production. These glass screens were used to almost compartmentalise parts of the stage. They weren't fully see-through, but they weren't not see-through. Was opaque? Is opaque the opposite of see-through? Wow. Plus, a couple of times there is a little door installed into the wall so people can be on the stage but in a different place. That makes no sense. But yeah, I enjoyed it. Let's just leave it at that. Last person I wanted to mention in regards to the creative side was the choreography. Choreography for this show has been done by Carrie Ann Ingruel. I always feel like I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, and I probably am. Carrie's work is well known. even by little old me who knows nothing about dance and about choreography. She is one of the people behind the choreography at Six. So I feel like at some point we've all experienced it at in life, if not on a screen, because Six is now a film. I enjoyed that the choreography flowed still quite well with the piece, because obviously dear Evan Hansen has quite a few quite strong content themes, and you don't really want someone like doing crazy choreography. The choreography in the show just worked really well. Yeah, I enjoyed it. We're going to move away from choreography because I am absolutely terrible at dance. Let's move on instead to the cast, and the first two people I have to mention are just insanely talented. Like, the whole cast is incredible. Evan in this production is played by the wonderful Ryan Capel. I have literally just YouTubed him saying his name so I didn't butcher it. I last saw Ryan in Newsies. This is a whole different scene than that show, but Ryan was so amazing to sit and watch. I am in awe of the talent in that human being, because wow, incredible. I also understand that there is an alternate for Evan Hansen because it is such a hard-hitting role that I assume is going to take so much out of you mentally. So I was very happy to see Ryan in something, and like I said, he just blew me away so much. Speaking of people blow me away, as always, Alice Fern, chef's kiss. I love Alice. I've seen her in multiple productions of different shows. My first experience was seeing her being a gingerbread in Shrek, and since that day I have been in love with her. She plays Heidi, who is Evan's mum, and oh, such an incredible human being, so incredibly talented. I absolutely adore her, and her singing So Big So Small in Act 2 almost, I was gonna say almost broke me, but by that point I was in tears anyway. It was an emotional night for me. it just, yeah, she was absolutely incredible, and it was lovely to see her in a new role. The other family in this show are the Murphys. They include the mum and the dad, who are Cynthia and Larry, who are played by Helen Anker and Richard Hurst. I enjoyed watching both of those individually and also together. I also like the dynamic between them and their two children, who are Zoe and Connor, in the initial part of this show. Zoe is played by Lauren Conroy, and oh, I loved her so much. Her voice was absolutely beautiful as well. I have no other notes. I'm just like, literally in my notes I've just put a heart next to her. That's all I needed to say. I loved her. Connor, the other member of the Murphys family, is played by, and I'm probably going to pronounce this incorrectly, so apologies already, Killian Thomas Lefevre? Hopefully one of those is correct. Killian obviously goes through a lot in Act 1, if you will. I, for some reason, really loved watching Killian as Connor, especially as the show progressed. There was something about the Connor character that I really enjoyed. I don't know what that actually says about me, but there we are. Jared Kleinman in our performance was played by Tom Dickerson. My mother, who came with me to see the show, had some choice words for that character in the interval. But I personally really enjoyed Tom's portrayal of Jared, who initially, when you first meet him, he kind of comes off in a certain way, because he basically says something along the lines of he's only talking to Evan because his family is friends with their family, and in order to stay in the family good books he talks to him. So I can understand why my mum was a bit had used her words to describe Jared in such a way, but I again really enjoyed that character. It had layers. Going back to Shrek again. Final principal in our performance was Alana, who was played by understudy, I believe. I say I believe because when it came to entering the show, it had the cast information for the afternoon performance, not ours, but I believe we had Olivia Faith Camo. Again, I apologise for butchering names, but I am willing to be told I'm wrong. I went on the 2nd of April, should I say, so feel free to tell me. The reason I believe that our Alana was one part of the ensemble members is because our ensemble was then down to 3, I believe, which I think in the space of the Grand worked pretty well. The Grand isn't a massive space in relation to some theatres I have visited. It's not tiny by any stretch of the imagination, but it's not the biggest, and having the amount of people on the stage still worked absolutely fine. And it also meant that this, I was gonna say warm hug of a show. Is it a warm hug? This show had its central feeling and it was tight knit. I don't know what I'm saying, so I'm going to finish off. I am so glad that I finally saw this show. I knew it was going to break me before I entered the theatre. I was prepared. It did hit me about 3 or 4 times, and I'm okay with that. I love a good cry at theatre, and if it's bringing you to tears, somebody is doing something right in my eyes. The tour now continues until the 5th of July, which is in Edinburgh at the Playhouse. I love when a touring show gives you the whole list of where people are going, because it just makes my life easier and I don't have to hunt it out. So still to come, if you will, is Plymouth, Hull, Cardiff, Cheltenham, Norwich, Blackpool, Aylesbury, Birmingham, York and Edinburgh. Done and dusted. I keep toying with the idea of going back whilst it's in Birmingham. We shall see. But I'm definitely kicking myself not having seen it sooner than I did. But anyway, we live and we learn. I have missed so much theatre over the years that I'd love to have seen, and I just didn't. We only can fit in as much as we can. And before I get philosophical, all my voice dies, because I don't know about you, but this lovely summer has summer or sunshine has basically brought all the pollen and it's kicking my head. So I'm going to leave this video here and curl up in a ball for a bit. All the stuff to say, as usual, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you've seen this production, what did you think? Feel free to leave me your thoughts down below. Let's get a conversation started. Why not? But all that's left to say really is the usual, and that is I love you all lots. Thank you for watching. So long, farewell, and goodbye. Bye.